What's going on, gamers? We got an interesting article here from a response from the Xbox co-founder again. So he came out and said that he believed Xbox would be sunsetted, but he read the criticism too. And the interesting thing is, he didn't just disappear for a long time. He came back and said why he said that. And it's interesting what he says because there's definitely something to talk about here, how he actually feels and why he said that. And I think this guy is just being realistic. And I like his point of view because he's not PRing you, you know what I mean? This is a guy that I believe actually had an original vision that was actually good. You can tell by the way he speaks, just like in his last article, he's realistic. He's not going to BS you. And I think this is what was missing in the Xbox industry. You needed more individuals with mindsets like that communicating to you honestly to let you know what's really going on and not BSing you. So Seamus Blackley, Xbox co-founder, says he doesn't believe Xbox is completely dead. And it's like, well, when people say Xbox is dead, here's the thing, and I believe eventually Microsoft probably could possibly do that. What's not dead is the fact that you have monopolized a lot of developers and publishers, so that you could be the publisher and have a bunch of games underneath your radar, so that you could be a strong publisher. That's where the Xbox brand can still go out, and since it has PlayStation to go on and be third party and Switch 2 and Steam, then that's not dead because PlayStation is not dead, Switch 2 is not dead, and neither is Steam. So it could just act as an EA and Sega and all those others, right? Capcom, Square Enix. So in that sense, no, but we're talking about as its own ecosystem standing on its own to compete with PlayStation. It's like, Apple still stands on its own, and Nvidia stands on its own. Microsoft as a corporation is still standing on its own, obviously with all that money. I don't see how it couldn't. Nintendo's standing on its own, Sony's standing on its own. I mean, when you look at like companies that are like doing what they're doing, AMD is standing on its own, stuff like that. That's what people mean by like that's over with. Now you have to like go to other people to stay alive. Like you can't function on your own independently. And the hardware is done. So in that sense, that's where Xbox is dead. Yeah, of course. And it became Microsoft Gaming. So that sense, yes. And then he says, but changes are coming. Yeah, they have to because you can't stay doing what you were doing before. It didn't work. Look at the series results. He says, no, I love Xbox more than literally anyone. I guess some people could say that's debatable, but then it's different when you build something and you put it into the world a different way. It's a different type of love compared to somebody who's actually loving what you did. So yeah, that's a definitely different standpoint from what he's saying. So he's not coming here to dump on it. He's being realistic. He says, this is killing me. Meaning that I don't like something that I built as a co-founder, seeing it in a position that it's in. Xbox is dead. Actually hurts him inside. He says, but I know a lot about organizations and business now. And I was being honest, not a PR asshole. Hey, I can give him credit for that because this is what I was talking about earlier. Why did he say not a PR asshole? And I'm being honest with you. What's the problem, right? He's not sitting here trying to play games with you. He's not sitting here being fake. He's somebody that cares. And because he cares, obviously it affects him. And he's telling you, I know a lot about these organizations and businesses. But listen to me, I'm being honest with you. And I'm not being some PR asshole who's just trying to hit you with this uh dog and pony show light. You know what I mean? We're not talking about places. No, you guys know what I'm talking about. I'm not trying to media light you and hit you with this nonsense to sound good, and then you realize I'm just prodding you so I can just keep making my money and doing what I want to do. And then he's just like, the distress, it's Xbox and kills me, haunts me. But progress requires introspection and realism. This is what I was talking about in my other videos. You have to face reality. You have to be able to take criticism. You have to realize if you get in these certain positions, what it takes to be able to improve. Improvement means I have to be open to admitting that I'm not perfect and I'm not, God of the universe or something like that. You know what I mean? I need introspection and realism in order to face reality to see how I need to improve. That means even being open to that type of stuff. Not walking on eggshells and feel like nobody can do it. Like that's the worst thing. That's feminism. You're not going to prove anything that you need light photosynthesis. You see what I mean? You need to grow. That's what growth means, is growing in the light and facing the truth and saying, all right, I see that now. I know what I need to do to improve. Know what I mean? So that's what it takes. He said, learning is pain. You working out? How do you grow? No pain, no gain. You know what I mean? Growing. That's what I mean. Photosynthetic. Like you see a fruit breaking open in the light, it's painful, but it grows, a tree grows, right? You grow in life when you're younger, you have growing pains. Like he's saying, learning is pain. So that means facing the truth, facing constructive criticism, and learning what it takes to own up with your mistakes and realize that and admit that. Drop your ego and all that type of stuff. And this type of stuff, I feel like, has been missing in the Xbox world for a long time because it's always gassing, fake stuff, making it look like it's amazing, but it's failing deep down inside. And because this went on for so much, along with them pushing that too, that nothing improved and you're just being fake. That is not introspection and it's not realism. And it's not painful. These people are just sitting there masking everything and pretending like that's not going on. And it's like, that's why there's no improvement. So he says, it's literally something I nearly died to bring into existence. Yeah. Seeing it struggle and being unable to act is hard. That's what I'm saying. This guy would have rather seen it compete with PlayStation. Be strong. You know what I mean? Have like hardship and a lot of people being criticized, but at least you're trying to grow and improve. We didn't feel like he's seen any of this, so he's facing reality here. There's nothing wrong with somebody selling more to you, but if you're trying to grow and you're inviting introspection in, community feedback, you're facing reality, realism, and you're learning and you're going through growth spurts because you're not perfect, then there can be some improvement. But when you have all that other stuff going on, then it just makes you seem like the Xbox One has been too fake, and it has been for too long. So, I mean, this guy's being real here. It's literally something I nearly died to bring into existence. Seeing it struggle and being unable to act is hard. He wants to see better. It's difficult. It's a difficult wall to scale because it's games. One thing that I've learned about my career is that everyone believes they're a game developer. I've said this before. Being a game developer is totally different than thinking that because you were successful in the movie industry, you were successful at Amazon, you were successful at Google, that Stadia is going to be all this and that because you have a bunch of money, that Amazon Games is going to blow up, you know what I mean? And then you saw they all tried. Other people have tried. Even Microsoft, the most money, tried. What happened? It's not what you think. All those great minds tried to come into gaming at one point too. Everyone thinks they're a game designer. There's something about games when you play them. They seem so effortless. There's an assumption that anyone can do it, right? Because so many people tried it. But this industry's tough, now more tough than ever. Asha's statement in there about how she'll figure out reminds me a lot of that. I've been around a lot of that. I've had Bill Gates say that to me. I've had Steven Spielberg say that to me. I've had a lot of really smart people say basically that line to me. It's funny for me to see that in there as well. It's interesting because, like I said, remember when I was talking about that in the last video, that I think Sarah Bond could be a bright sun sister, no problem. I think probably Asha could be an intelligent Indian woman in real life. Satya is a brilliant genius. He made Microsoft 10 times richer. But that does not mean that when you go into the gaming industry, that is going to just go into there and you're going to be a genius there. And they've all figured that out, that it doesn't work like that. He's right. It's a totally different algorithm. It's a totally different world. And actually, I think it is the toughest industry in the world because it takes so much to make a video game and to get people to consistently work with you together without any layoffs. This is why Nintendo is so amazing. And to keep that bond going for such a long time and be progressive, understand gamers, and be very successful and keep it going without messing up. It's tough. And all the genius minds in other categories in the world have come in and they've seen, yeah, this is definitely different. You don't see them stay around because they realize, nah, not really my field. And they made the right decision because that's, once again, introspection and realism and realizing things and admitting it. It's the right thing to do because then you can succeed in what you're good at. Asha is coming into games because her boss believes that games are going to be driven by AI. See what he's saying? He's giving you, once again, that statement right there. Introspection, realism, and facing the truth. That's why I like this guy. He's done this twice now. This is somebody I already respect a lot because the way he appeared to you 2 times in a row now is very realistic. So he brought her in there. What was she, AI executive? She could say what she wants, but who knows who's behind her as some handler telling her, say these words. You know what I mean? So that we can see that. But it's not introspection. It's not realism. It's a very different approach. You can tell that they're really serious about games being fixed by AI because Madam doth protest so much about how they're not going to make slop and it's all human controlled. But what is that? That's PR. That's what we've all been saying. And he says for anyone over a certain age with a certain amount of business experience, you recognize those words for what they are. Yeah, 100%. You see what he's trying to tell you. This guy's coming with nothing but realism. Look at the look he has, man. This guy, I don't think he's faked. He's coming. It's obviously rough him seeing Xbox like that. He looks like he has that look like, man, the brand I built. Damn, this is like dreadful. But I like his realism. I like that he's being straight up with you. And they're not going to get mad at him because he's being real. He's coming out and telling you the truth. And this was from Games Radar, by the way. And this was a reply to Xbox will be sunsetted under the new CEO. That's what he said that before. So the guy came and replied and basically said this. And this is a very realistic article here in reply. And I like that about him. Going down into the comments, AI can cause disaster. Remember Mass Effect 4 facial expressions? They were left to AI. We know what happened by then. Yeah, EA tried that earlier with other people. It all went down. Because you're not going to replace the human being with an AI. It doesn't have a soul. It only has whatever you put in it. Xbox will probably make it to where third-party manufacturers can make their own console with full access to your Xbox library. The problem is that not only does he have absolutely nothing to do with it, it's not even remotely the same company it was when he left. He was just as much insight into it as I do. And this guy says that I'm a moron. Pretending his words have any authority isn't best. What are you talking about, dude? This guy is saying exactly what matters. Well, he did say he's a moron, so I guess that makes sense. All right, so please read Xbox can come back so Sony can really fight like WWE. He's right, though. He's right once again. He's effing right for all the Xbox out there. So, like, you kind of get the idea here. The people that are intelligent realize what this guy is doing is exactly what Xbox needed for quite some time. You've got people that actually had that type of mindset to face reality and realize that we need growth spurts. No pain, no gain. We need introspection. We need community feedback. We need honesty. Not PR and damage control and getting worse. And the results are crap. And then we're hiding numbers. We don't show you anything. We're dishonest with you. And you see everything at an all-time low and the prices go up double. And it's like, what are we doing here, man? And then Sony is just skating around, gliding, spinning around in circles and doing whatever they want, if you kind of get what I mean. But now with Nintendo getting into the third-party market share, there's a lot more competition there. But still, it would have been nice to have all three competing more. Because Steam Machine can come into the industry, right? And it's still going to come, but it's not going to be able to bother PlayStation or Nintendo because it's not coming on the market to be sold like a console. It's just coming to give the Steam community and somebody outside of the Windows sphere that wants something that's not Windows or to maybe branch out with another device, that experience, that console-like experience. But it's not going to be MPD, Steam Machine sold 1 million consoles this month, 1 million the next month, 1 million that month, 2 million, you know what I mean? That's, no. Maybe the first month they may be able to do that, but when you think about long-term, Valve even said, man, if we were able to get 10 million sales lifetime, we're going to be very happy. They're not going to subsidize. And now they're being forced to jack the price up a lot more than what they initially intended. And Microsoft is not going to subsidize either. They've already made that clear. So what is the positivity for Xbox then? Strong video games and strong third-party publishing and keeping that going. Because what matters more than anything is the games. Hardware, you're good now because you have the option to play it somewhere else. We already got past that. But at least what's left, try to make that very good. And that's making really good video games and being a strong publisher. And that's facing the music. So I want you guys to let me know what you think about this. Leave a comment down below. Peace out. Keep gaming as usual, no matter what platform you're on. I want to see more from this guy because I like what he's saying. Later, y'all.